Do you ever find yourself feeling a little invisible like your children, who once hung on your every word, now barely hear you, or perhaps even dismiss your advice with a polite but firm, "Mom, Dad, I've got it." It's a painful reality for many of us who've dedicated our lives to raising our kids, only to feel a growing distance, a lack of the natural respect we once knew. Maybe they talk over you, make decisions without consulting you, or perhaps you feel more like a convenient babysitter or an ATM than a revered elder. This feeling, this quiet ache of being sidelined, can be confusing and deeply saddening. We love our children more than anything, and we want to maintain a loving, respectful connection. But how do we bridge that gap when it feels like the dynamic has shifted so profoundly? What if I told you that regaining that respect isn't about demanding it or lecturing them, but about making some powerful, subtle shifts in your own approach? It's not about changing them, but about changing yourself in ways that naturally inspire their admiration and respect. In this video, we're going to explore 5 powerful moves that can transform your relationship with your adult children, helping you not just regain their respect, but deepen your connection in meaningful ways. Stick around until the very end because I have something truly surprising for you that will change how you view this whole journey. Let's dive right into our first powerful move. And this one is fundamental to any healthy relationship. Especially with your adult children, it's all about practicing active listening and truly validating their feelings. Now, this might sound simple, but it's deeply profound. It means going beyond just hearing the words they're saying and actually striving to understand their perspective, their emotions, and their experiences without judgment or immediate solutions. When your child comes to you with a problem, or even just sharing about their day, our natural instinct as parents is often to jump in with advice, to fix things, or to tell them what they should do. But for adult children, this can feel dismissive. It can inadvertently communicate that you don't trust them to figure things out for themselves, or that their feelings aren't valid unless they align with your experienced wisdom. So, how do we practice active listening? It starts with putting down your phone, turning off the TV, and giving them your full, undivided attention. Make eye contact. When they speak, resist the urge to interrupt. Even if you think you know exactly what they're going to say, or if you already have the perfect solution bubbling up, let them finish their thoughts completely. Once they're done, instead of immediately offering advice, try paraphrasing what you heard them say. For example, if your daughter is stressed about her job, instead of saying, "You should just quit," try, "It sounds like you're feeling really overwhelmed and burnt out with everything on your plate at work right now. Is that right?" This simple act of reflecting back what you heard shows that you've truly processed their words. It shows you're not just waiting for your turn to talk, but that you're genuinely engaged in understanding their world. Then, go a step further and validate their feelings. You don't have to agree with their choices or their perspective to validate their emotions. You might say, "It makes perfect sense that you'd feel frustrated after dealing with that." Or, "That sounds incredibly stressful. I can see why you'd be upset." When you validate their feelings, you're telling them, "I hear you, I see you, and your emotions are valid." And that fosters a deep sense of being understood and respected. This approach builds respect because it demonstrates that you value their thoughts, their autonomy, and their ability to navigate their own lives. When your adult child feels truly heard and understood by you, they're far more likely to open up, to trust you with their vulnerabilities, and in turn, to respect your perspective when you do eventually offer it. If they ask for it, it shifts the dynamic from a parent-child lecture to a conversation between two adults who respect each other's experiences. Now, this leads us seamlessly into our second powerful move, setting clear boundaries and communicating your expectations. This might feel counterintuitive to gaining respect, as many of us are programmed to believe that parents should always be available, always giving. But true respect isn't about being a doormat or constantly sacrificing your own needs. In fact, Quite the opposite. When you don't set boundaries, you're inadvertently teaching your children that your time, energy, and resources are limitless and that your own needs are secondary. This doesn't foster respect. It can lead to exploitation, even unintentional. Boundaries are not about creating distance. They are about defining the space where healthy relationships can thrive. They show that you respect yourself, and that teaches others to respect you too. Think about it. Have you ever felt taken advantage of? Perhaps with last-minute childcare requests that disrupt your plans, or financial appeals that leave you feeling stretched thin, or perhaps constant demands for emotional support that drain your energy. It's natural to want to help our children. But there's a line where help turns into enabling, and generosity turns into expectation. Setting boundaries means clearly stating what you can and cannot do, and what you are and are not comfortable with. It's about communicating your limits firmly but kindly. For example, if your child frequently expects you to drop everything for them, you might say, "I love spending time with you, but I need my quiet evenings to recharge." Or, "I'd love to help with childcare, but I need at least a day's notice to arrange my schedule." If it's about money, instead of just saying yes or a resentful no, you could say, "I understand you're in a tight spot, but I'm not able to lend money right now, as I'm saving for my own retirement. Have you explored other options like X or Y?" The key here is consistency and calm communication. Don't wait until you're resentful to establish a boundary. Have these conversations proactively. It might feel uncomfortable at first, and your children might even push back, especially if they're used to a different dynamic. But by holding your ground, you're sending a clear message: I value myself, my time, and my needs, and I expect you to respect that. This doesn't make you a bad parent. It makes you a healthy, self-respecting individual. When your children see that you respect yourself enough to set and maintain boundaries, they learn to respect those boundaries, and in turn, respect you as a whole person, not just as a resource. It shifts them from seeing you as an endless well to understanding that you too have limits, aspirations, and a life of your own. This respect for your individuality is a cornerstone of adult-to-adult relationships. Now that we've explored the power of truly listening and setting healthy boundaries, let's turn our attention to an area that often gets overlooked but is absolutely crucial for regaining respect. And that's leading by example. This brings us to our third powerful shift: taking responsibility and being willing to apologize. We all make mistakes. As parents, we've probably made plenty, and continue to do so. In our efforts to guide and protect our children, we might have been overly critical, offered unsolicited advice that stung, or reacted poorly in moments of stress or frustration. Even as adults, we might unintentionally say something hurtful, jump to conclusions, or make an assumption about their lives that turns out to be completely wrong. Our children, even adult children, are still watching us, perhaps even more closely now that they are navigating their own adult lives. They are looking to see how we handle imperfections, how we respond when we fall short. When you are able to humbly acknowledge your own mistakes, when you can say, "I was wrong," or "I regret how I handled that," or "I apologize for saying X," you are demonstrating incredible strength, integrity, and maturity. This isn't a sign of weakness. It's a profound act of humility that earns immense respect. Think about it. How often do we see people truly owning their errors without making excuses or deflecting blame? It's rare. When you do it, especially with your children, you model the very behavior you hope to see in them. It teaches them that it's okay to be imperfect, that accountability is powerful, and that apologies, when genuine, can heal and strengthen bonds. Let's consider some real-life examples. Perhaps you gave a piece of unsolicited financial advice that your child took, and it didn't work out well. Or you were overly critical of their parenting style. Instead of defending your past actions or saying, "I was just trying to help," You could approach them and say, "You know, I've been thinking about what I said last week about your finances, and I realize I jumped in with too much advice without really understanding your situation. I apologize if I overstepped or made you feel criticized. I care about your well-being, and I want to support you in the best way possible." Or, if you snapped at them during a stressful moment, you could follow up with, "I'm sorry for being short with you earlier. I was feeling overwhelmed, and that's no excuse for how I spoke to you. I value our conversations, and I want to make sure I'm always treating you with respect." The key is to be specific. Take responsibility for your part, and avoid adding buts or blaming them. This willingness to be vulnerable and accountable paves the way for deeper trust and a more open relationship, where respect flows both ways. It also shows them that it's acceptable for them to apologize when they make mistakes, setting a healthier tone for all future interactions. This brings us to our fourth powerful move, which flows beautifully from the last, showing genuine respect for their adult lives and their choices. As parents, we raised our children, guided them, and protected them through their formative years. But they are no longer children. They are adults, with their own lives, their own partners, their own careers, their own parenting styles, and their own unique paths. Our role shifts from director to that of a consultant, a supporter, a trusted confidant, if they seek that role from us. A common pitfall for parents of adult children is the tendency to continue treating them as if they are still young, offering unsolicited advice, questioning their decisions, or even criticizing their lifestyle choices. While our intentions are always rooted in love and a desire for their well-being, this behavior often comes across as controlling, judgmental, and deeply disrespectful to an adult. To truly gain their respect, you must first offer it wholeheartedly to them as independent adults. This means resisting the urge to jump in with advice unless explicitly asked. If you feel compelled to offer guidance, a simple, respectful question can make all the difference. "Would you like my input on this, or would you just like me to listen?" This gives them the power to choose, which in itself is a profound act of respect. It also means genuinely respecting their decisions, even if they are different from what you would have done, or what you think is best, whether it's their career path, their financial choices, their parenting approach with your grandchildren, or their relationship decisions. Your role is not to approve or disapprove, but to support them as they navigate their own journey. For instance, if your child tells you about a decision you fundamentally disagree with, instead of launching into a lecture, you might say, "I understand that's what you've decided, and I support you in making your own choices for your life. I'm here if you ever want to talk more about it." This sends a powerful message that you trust their judgment, even when it differs from yours. It also means not gossiping about their choices or their struggles with other family members or friends. Their adult lives are their own, and maintaining their privacy demonstrates a deep level of respect and trust. When your adult children feel truly respected for their autonomy, for their intelligence, and for their ability to forge their own way, they are far more likely to come to you for genuine advice, to share their lives freely, and to value your presence as a supportive elder, rather than dreading your judgment. This shifts the relationship from one based on obligation and assumed authority to one built on mutual respect and genuine affection. Finally, we arrive at what I believe is the most transformative move of all. And this is the surprise I mentioned at the beginning, because it has very little to do with them, and everything to do with you. This fifth powerful move is to deeply invest in your own well-being and happiness. You see, when you are a vibrant, fulfilled, and independent individual, you become an inspiration, a source of joy, and a delightful presence, rather than someone who might inadvertently seem needy or burdensome. Often, as parents, Especially as we get older and our children lead increasingly busy lives, we can fall into the trap of making our children the sole focus of our existence, or the primary source of our happiness and sense of purpose. We might wait by the phone for their calls, or feel disappointed if they don't visit as often as we'd like. While it's natural to miss them and want their presence, making them responsible for your emotional fulfillment can subtly create a dynamic where they feel pressured, and this pressure can ironically push them away. When you have a rich and active life of your own, filled with hobbies, friendships, learning, and personal pursuits, you radiate a different kind of energy. You're not waiting for your children to fill your time. You're excitedly living your own life. This makes you incredibly appealing and interesting to be around. Imagine the difference between a phone call where you complain about feeling lonely or bored, versus a call where you share your excitement about a new class you're taking, a trip you're planning with friends, or a project you're passionate about. Which conversation do you think your children will look forward to more when they see you thriving, pursuing your own interests, and finding joy in your own independent life? They respect your resilience, your zest for life, and your self-sufficiency. They realize you don't need them to complete you. You cherish them, and their presence is an added bonus to an already fulfilling life. This realization shifts the dynamic from obligation to genuine desire for connection. So, how do you invest in your own well-being? It means actively cultivating friendships outside of your family. It means pursuing hobbies you've always wanted to try, whether it's painting, gardening, learning a new language, or volunteering for a cause you care about. It means staying physically active in ways that bring you joy. It means prioritizing your own health, both physical and mental. It means having plans and adventures that don't revolve around your children. This self-focus isn't selfish. It's essential for your happiness and, paradoxically, for fostering healthy, respectful relationships with everyone, including your adult children. When you respect your own journey, your own purpose, and your own happiness, you become a beacon of inspiration. And others, especially your children, will naturally gravitate towards that positive energy and treat you with the profound respect you deserve. This profound self-respect is the ultimate key. So, we've journeyed through these 5 powerful shifts that can truly transform your relationships with your adult children. The profound impact of truly listening and validating their feelings. The strength and self-respect found in setting clear, kind boundaries. The humbling yet powerful act of taking responsibility and apologizing for your mistakes. The wisdom and trust you build by genuinely respecting their adult lives and their choices. And finally, the radiant effect of investing deeply in your own joy, purpose, and well-being. Remember, these aren't quick fixes, but profound shifts in how you approach your relationships and, indeed, how you live your own life. It takes patience, consistency, and a whole lot of love, but the rewards are immeasurable. Small, consistent steps in these areas truly do lead to big changes, fostering deeper connections built on mutual respect, understanding, and genuine affection. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Have you tried any of these approaches? What has worked for you in fostering respectful relationships with your adult children? Share your experiences and your wisdom in the comments below. Your insights and stories help all of us in this wonderful community learn and grow. If this video resonated with you, if you found these powerful moves helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps our channel reach more people who might be struggling with these very same questions and looking for positive ways forward. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing. We're here to help you navigate life's beautiful challenges and discover new ways to thrive and live your very best life. No matter your age, because truly, every stage of life offers new opportunities for growth, connection, and profound happiness. You deserve to live your best life at every age.